Hello and welcome to Film Slam Stream's post-film conversation for Bumper. My name is Eric Siler, and I'm an instructor of film, media arts, and communications, as well as moderator for this conversation. We're very pleased to be joined by the director of Bumper, Nirina Ralantoaritsimba. Hello, Nirina, and how are you?
Hello, Eric. I'm very good. I'm very happy to be here with you and to talk about Bumper today.
Yes, I'm happy to bump into you today for this. I'm sorry, I
Same.
couldn't resist. Um, So we have some students that will possibly watch this, or if they're not watching already, some of them are actually studying in French. Do you mind saying a special hello to our students in French that are studying it?
Bonjour, chers étudiants de Cleveland. Je suis très heureuse de vous rencontrer. Je sais que certains parmi vous comprennent le français, donc merci d'être avec nous. Merci d'écouter mon témoignage sur la réalisation de ce film, Le Créneau, traduction Bumper en anglais.
Very good. I guess you said hello to them and said that you're happy that they're here.
Yes, I did.
Okay, what a darling film. I mean, did you have just as fun making it as the story itself?
You know, this story is actually inspired from a feature script, not done, the feature, longer story. It's actually also a story inspired by my grandmother. So basically, I minimize it into this little piece, little extract of life. It's full of inspiration from my great grandmother, and yeah, to give a homage to her.
Okay, so it was inspired by her, but this isn't an actual true story. It's something that probably could have happened.
Yes, sorry, yeah, it's actually, it didn't happen to her, but it could have happened to her according to all the adventures that I witnessed. But it's a fiction based on a real character, my grandmother.
Exactly. Now, the grandmother and the character, that was not your actual grandmother. That was actually an actress.
It's a professional actress. She's been acting for years, decades, and she's actually now turning about 90 years old. She's still alive. She's working on big movies in France, and that's her job. And I fell in love with her. I have to say that I actually met her through the TV screen when I was a child, looking at some TV shows when I was younger. And then, like recently for this movie, I met her for real and I hired her for this job. She was great, perfect.
How did you find her?
Actually, my brother, who is the director and the co-writer of this movie, gave me a list of actresses, and at some point he gave me this woman and said, "Wow, but this is the woman that from my childhood that she was so famous on TV." I said, "Wow, I didn't think about this one," and that's how I contacted her agent, and she read the script, she loved it, but she was not available at that time. She said, I'm so disappointed not to be able to be during the shoot dates that you told me. And finally, coincidences, she finally got free, and that's how we met. We did an audition. She was perfect, like so perfect. I said okay, and then that's how, yeah,
And then what about
auditioning.
I'm sorry, what about the grandson? How did you cast him?
So for the Great Sun, I remember I went on some platforms from some French acting school that I like. And obviously from the picture and from the CV, looking at some videos, showreel, I ended up selecting maybe 10 young men. He was the first one I auditioned. And I remember also my brother and producer and co-writer being with me. And when I told him the first one, I said, okay, this is him. This is him. But Nirina, calm down. You have some other people to audition. First one, you cannot just say like that. I know it. So I auditioned other actors that were very good as well. But really, this one was the first one I auditioned, and the first one that I said, it's exactly my character, and I love also the relationship we had during the acting direction. It was very good. So
Did you
yeah,
have
I
them
was
read?
blessed.
Did you have them read together before you cast them?
Uh, I actually sorry, did I meet them?
Did they actually audition together so you can
Ah,
tell if it
sorry,
was the
sorry.
correct people?
Actually, no. I auditioned Hugues by himself. I was giving him the text, and I auditioned Marie-Pierre by herself, and I just matched them. I make them meet afterwards, but I already knew. I already knew. And actually, during this first meeting of two actors meeting, they didn't really get along. I said, "Oh my God!"
Oh,
But
really?
that's a little story you need to know backstage. They didn't really, there was no like, "Oh, nice meeting." It was a little bit awkward, or I don't know exactly. But I kept thinking, I know these two are going to be amazing. And that's interesting because in the script, you see that obviously the characters, they love each other, but there is this kind of love and
Right.
hate.
The
So I
problem.
said, okay, we're going to work on it. We're going to see. And during the shoot, which was 7 days long, there was a switch. I don't know exactly what happened backstage when they were putting their clothes on and the makeup, things going on during a shoot. And there was this shift where they suddenly became best friends.
Oh,
But I
good.
knew because I knew that this would happen. But so I let them be. So basically, no, I cast them separately, and I just knew that it was going to be
Oh,
nice.
great. So I know you mentioned your brother helped direct the film. Did you direct as well too? He wrote it as well. What is your role and his role in this film?
Sorry, I was maybe not clear. So I co-wrote with him. We co-wrote
Okay.
because we basically wrote together a script feature together about a grandmother and a great son, a long story. Then we wrote together this story, short script. So he's my co-writer. I'm the director. He's not
Okay.
directing. I'm the
All
only
right.
one. I'm the only one. But obviously, as a producer, because he's also the producer of this film, he was on set,
Great.
and he could see also when I auditioned, he could see the videos that I did. So basically, was always behind or giving. And this is a family story. Obviously, it has something to say, and it was important for me to have this point of view and everything.
So well, what did you when you and your brother were working on the script, what was your intent? What did you want the viewers to walk away with after seeing this film?
We were so inspired by my grandmother character, my French grandmother character, because I have another grandmother that I didn't meet. This is the only one that I got to know. The only one, the other one was dead before I was born. She's from Madagascar. The other one, maybe I like one day to make a movie about my Madagascar ancestor. But my brother and I really wanted to play with this character of my grandmother and develop something around her and develop a world of this countryside because also the place where she used to live is so mythical for us. We went so many summers and vacation. We spent so much time with her. I actually have done a documentary web series called My Weekend with Meme, my weekend with grandma, basically. You can find it on YouTube, and I film myself having fun with her and interacting. So my brother and I really wanted to give this sense of authenticity with a French grandmother from the countryside, and also go deep into the contradiction between the generations that we can find sometimes because we loved her. She's actually gone now. My grandma, she was dead in 2015, but she's still alive for me thanks to this movie and other the documentary. But we really wanted to show the interaction between generations and see how we can find harmony within.
Great. That is great. So let's talk more about the actual story itself. I just love all the little elements of life that you put into the film. It just seems like it can happen to anyone. He's showing up, his grandmother's not there. Why is she driving? And he's really nervous about the oral exam and so forth. And she wants to take her driving test, and he's showing her Google Maps. All these little things. It's just so delightful. How did you come up with that? Is that something that actually happened with you and your grandmother? Or did you try to think of scenarios?
Thank you, Eric, for mentioning all this because yes, we wanted to make our grandmother a universal grandmother, and we hope that the audience can see some little samples, because obviously we don't have all the same grandmother, because there are some grandmother that are softer than our grandmother. She was sometimes harsh, sometimes more harsh than soft, and we loved her for being that. So we wanted this to become universal. That's why we got inspired by some real experience that we had with our grandmother, and we also invented. So it's a fiction based on reality, but we didn't see our grandmother struggling with the driving license. She had it at that time, but I actually don't remember when she lost she stopped driving, so it was not an issue for us. Basically, this idea of the driving license is my brother doing some research while we were writing, doing some research about social and real problem for old people in France, because this is a social problem. What do we do with these people having the driving license but not being able to really drive safely? So basically, we did some research, and then we implement this into this character that we had in mind, actually based on her grandmother. So, and the exam, I would say that maybe it didn't happen to us at all. But as a French people and all students having passed so many exams in the French educational system, we know how stressful it could be. I mean, it's also universal. And we had so many conversations with our grandmother, commenting us about our studies and stuff. So we got inspired by some general and universal questions that so many grandchildren have when they meet their grandmother, and there's such a gap between their ambition, their goals, their objective, and the grandmother's ones. So really, it was research and life all combined, and willing to create something that's really representative to the intergenerational questions and funny aspects.
Oh, that's really touching to do something of that nature in terms of a film. One other thing I really enjoyed about the film was this the other things that can happen, such as when his grandmother turned up the TV too loud. He had to tell her he wanted her to turn it down, and he came back and he found that his papers got wet and he was running late and interrupted his grandmother's breakfast. So he ate her sandwich. Then he missed the train. Did you actually think of those things, or did those things actually come up as you were filming? Let's do this or do that. How much of that was scripted and how much that was, like, I guess, ad-libbed as you were filming?
Very interesting question, Eric. Thank you for asking, because this is something that I experienced in this movie shoot. The difference between what I wrote, what I rewrote, what we shot, what we edit, what we improvise on the spot. So to come back to something that you asked before about the Google Map thing, it's actually a scene that happened indirectly with my grandmother being looking at me being on computer and not understanding what was the little arrow. It was like I need to click on things. This is and she thought, oh, this is maybe it's a fly. Or no, and I said it's an arrow, and it's one thing to click on things. But so my grandma was not on Google Maps, but she was always surprised when she saw our computers and stuff. So for example, the Google Maps scene, this is something where we thought, because at that time we said we really need to show the old generation being in touch with the new digital world. I mean, we saw it in so many movies now and web series and series, so it's not so new now. But at that time when we wrote, we really wanted to catch this moment of this huge difference of technical aspect. In terms of the scene about the TV, the scene about the paper, so the TV was already something that we wanted to show, because after the Google Map computer, oh, she doesn't know what it is, and the TV, she's in control. TV is an old object now, especially you see the TV she has is not a flat screen. It's an old one. That's her object. Why her great son? That's his object of the Apple laptop. That's her object. She controls it. She knows the remote also. She's in power. We really wanted to show this contrast, and also because I love the living room spot. For me, it's a myth. The living room spot for grandparents, old people, There are so many little objects, and I'm so glad I had this woman doing the set. She was very good. She remodeled the whole thing according to my idea, and she put all the little detail about the fabric, the things that she had around her. So this was already totally scripted, very, very detailed. And for Hugh, when he's going down, I didn't script it that he would put this robe, for example. It's because in the house we shot, which was a real house from an old grandmother that of one of the team people, we found some object, so we played with it. So it was not scripted. The blue the blue bathroom robe. So we said, oh, it's going to be amazing. Also, the shoes were not scripted, and as you saw, the little paper was not scripted at all. It's actually the actor who had, I think, got the idea. Oh, can we put some notes on the bathroom? So I'm really working on. So yes, great. And the set designer said, yes, let's put this. And I don't exactly know actually how we got this. Maybe actually the paper fell on the bathroom. I don't remember. But this was part of the improvisation, proposition of the actors, proposition of the set designer, playing with the objects that were on set. So that was it. That's why it was amazing, because from scripted to taking opportunity of improvisation, I loved it. And everybody was on the same page. And to tell you also about the scene of the sandwich, it was not scripted. It's Marie-Pierre Cazin doing this, the tartine, ta 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 ta, and once she put it on the table, Hugues comes and he did it, improvised it, and we loved it. Everybody was laughing about this. It was not. I didn't write it, but that's the beauty of acting.
Exactly. It worked out so well. You just felt it. You wanted to be part of, I wanted to be part of the filming of this, and also be in it as well too. That's great. So how was this film received? What have the responses been like to people you screened it with?
We had very good feedbacks. We got selected by quite a few. Like, I didn't count, but dozen or 20 or 30. I don't really know. From obviously Cleveland Festival, where we were happy to be selected at this festival, and some medium and smaller from some small regions in France. Countryside region festival in France. From some in Bordeaux. We were also in Australia. So we got selected in festivals in very international audience, which showed that our goal was reached. We wanted it to be universal. Obviously, it's very French, because French language and French countryside. But yes, this is universal, and this is about ancestors in general. And we were so happy to see that it speaks to generation. It speaks to any culture. So yeah, very well received. We also were screened on some channels in France. For now, I didn't succeed to produce the feature yet. It takes time, as we know, in the film industry, because Marie-Pierre Cazin said, okay, let's do it. I also imagine, okay, we're going to do a feature film, grandmother going to Madagascar, who knows, crazy stuff. But we could have definitely done a series about these two characters, because the chemistry and the potential of adventures is so huge. So to answer your question, yeah, very well received. We got some rewards and some awards. We were very happy, and Marie-Pierre and Hugues were very happy, and also the other actors, because obviously there are two main actors, but when you see the guy at the end who's controlling or doing the test, he's an amazing actor, François Rabet. And also Yana Biznerova, she's a friend actress at the beginning, the one who's the school teacher, the car teacher is very good, and also Christian Abar, just on the platform, representing the French person complaining about what's going on. There is a protest. Is the archetype of a French person being bumped that there is no train. So yeah, I really want to thank all my actors, obviously all my crew. This was such a great team to build this.
It was, and I thank you for bringing us this wonderful piece. And I'm sure many people are like watching this interview are thankful for what you've done. And we look forward to hopefully seeing this feature sooner rather than later of this.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Eric, for having me. I'm so happy I shared my testimony about this piece.
Well, great. Before we say goodbye, can you say a special goodbye to our students that are studying French?
Oui, eh bien, chers étudiants, je vous souhaite une bonne continuation. J'espère que vous avez apprécié cette interview et ce témoignage sur le tournage, les coulisses du film Le Créneau. Et j'espère que vous pourrez voir une suite, ou en tout cas, vous pouvez voir Mon week-end chez Mémé sur YouTube en documentaire pour voir la vraie Mémé qui a inspiré ce film. Merci beaucoup et au revoir.
Thank you for that. And wish you all the luck with your continued success.
Thank
All
you very
right,
much.
thank you to our audience for joining us for this important and invigorating conversation. For more information about our upcoming film festival, please visit us at clevelandfilm.org. I'm Eric Siler. Thank you.